Hello. Today we're going to demonstrate the Retroaktiv HLFO module. This module features a triangle, square, and random LFO that can be controlled with either the onboard touch sensor or external control voltages. Both the LFO speed and amplitude can be controlled in this way. The module also incorporates a sample and hold as well as a noise source. Let's look at some of these functions. Let's first take a look at the LFO waveforms. This is your basic triangle wave. We're going to turn up the amplitude. The triangle wave can go very slow with a period of about, 3.5 or 4 seconds, maybe even more. Or it can go up to about 700 hertz. Now let's look at the square wave. This is the sample and hold waveform. The LFO rate can be controlled with either the onboard touch sensor or using external control voltages. If you plug in to either of these jacks, then the normalized connection between the force sensor and this jack gets disconnected. So let's modulate the rate using the touch sensor. We can modulate the amplitude in the same way. We can use external control voltages to do this. Let's modulate the amplitude with a sawtooth wave. So that's the triangle. That's the sample and hold. That's the pulse. Now we'll modulate the amplitude with a triangle wave. We can do the same thing with the rate. Now we're controlling the rate with the triangle wave. This is the sample and hold. This is the triangle. This is the sample and hold waveform. The sample and hold circuit is normalized to sample the built-in noise generator inside of the HLFO. By plugging into the source jack, found right here, you can sample any waveform of your choosing. The sample and hold generator is normally clocked by the square wave LFO, but you can clock the sample and hold externally by plugging into the clock jack. The clock input will convert any gate or pulse train into the triggers needed for the sample and hold unit. Any voltage over 5 volts will work. The output of the sample and hold unit can be accessed here, or can be run through the LFO VCA and accessed here. Let's take a look at a few different ways of using the sample and hold generator. First, let's sample a triangle waveform instead of the internal noise generator. I'm still using the internal clock. Now let's sample a sine wave. Here's a sawtooth wave. Now I'm going to modulate the rate at which we're sampling the sawtooth wave with another sawtooth wave. Let's modulate the rate with a triangle wave. Now I'm going to use the internal noise generator. Now we're modulating the rate at which we sample that with a triangle wave. As you can see, there are endless possibilities when using the sample and hold generator in the HLFO. The touch sensor is normalized to the LFO rate and LFO amplitude control voltage pots. Plugging into either of these will disconnect the touch sensor from that parameter. The touch sensor also has its own output. Plugging into this will not disconnect any normalized connections in the HLFO. The touch sensor output is 0 to 5 volts.